everyone, it's Elizabeth Sweetwater here and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a fun and stylish project, sewing your very own retro tracksuit jacket. If you love that vintage sporty look, this step-by-step guide will help you create a custom piece that will fit perfectly. So grab your sewing machine and let's get started. Before you start, read the following. Fold over the piping bands and iron them flat. Sew them on 1 centimeter from the edge, on the stripe in the middle of the sleeve, the front pieces and the back pieces. Mark out the stitch lines of the pockets on the inside of the front pieces, and also the cutting lines. Also mark the stitch lines on the inside of your pocket pieces. Pin the corners of the stitch lines exactly together. Once the corners are pinned together, pin the rest of the stitch lines. Reposition the pins if needed. Sew over the stitch lines and once sewn, cut the pocket open following the cutting lines. Make sure you cut the corners as close to the stitch line as possible. Turn the pocket through the hole. Press open the top and bottom seam. Press the whole pocket opening flat. Then fold the pocket on the fold line to create the welt. This will cover the opening. Pin and sew the triangles created by cutting the sides diagonally against the sides of the folded up pocket part. Top stitch the bottom of the welt close to the edge. Place the lining pocket part right sides together on top of the pocket part. Sew them together with the overlock machine. And this is what it looks like once sewn together. And finally, top stitch the sides and the entrance. First assemble the sleeves. Pin and sew the middle part with the piping against the sleeve parts. Once sewn, cut away a little bit of the piping. This will create less bulky seams. Then finish the edges with an overlock stitch. Top stitch the seams close to the edge. Pin and sew the armhole of the front to the sleeve and the back. Just like on the sleeves, cut away the excess piping and finish the seams with an overlock stitch. And top stitch close to the edge. Before attaching the collar, indicate back neck and the front sleeve mark and indicate the middle of the collar. Pin the collar to the neck right sides together. Attach the collar with the sewing machine. Attach the hip band detail to the hip band and indicate the middle. Pin the waistband up to the seam against the bottom of the front. The zipper will start at the halfway point of the collar. Open up the zipper partially or completely and attach one half of the zipper to the front edge. One half is sewn in. Close the zipper before attaching the other half. First, pin and sew the seams together. Once the lines match, you can pin and sew the rest of the zipper half. Finish the edges of the facing parts with the overlock machine. Pin the neck of the facing to the collar up to the notch. And pin the bottom of the facing to the waistband up to the seam. Once the facing is attached to the collar and the bottom, open the seams and sew the facing right sides together to the front. Turn and press open the seams. Press the front and top stitch on 1/2 centimeter from the edge. Before overlocking the side seams, sew the seam under the arm with the sewing machine first, so the seam and piping will match. Then overlock the side seam. Pin and sew the cuffs into the sleeve with the overlock machine. Indicate the middle of the back with a pin and also of the hip band. Pin the hip band against the bottom edge. Start pinning under the facing. Then pin the middle of the back and stretch the band to pin the rest. Attach the band with the overlock machine. Sew the facing to the sleeve with a few hand stitches. Fold in the seam allowance of the collar and sew by hand. And here's the end result. That's it for today's tutorial. If you found this tutorial helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more DIY fashion projects. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Happy sewing!